Hey everyone, it's Ruby Owl. I just wanted to show you today one of my favorite hobbies, and it's something that you can do with your family or by yourself or even with Girl Guides, and it's geocaching. Geocaching is a fun game that you can play with a smartphone or a GPS or some tablets, where you look for objects and little caches that are hidden in the world all around you. There are geocaches in all environments all across the country, in urban ones and rural ones, and in big parks and in big cities. They're everywhere. If you go on to the geocaching website and have a look at the geocaches around you, you'll be surprised. There might be one right by your house. In BC, we have this geocaching challenge, and that's on the challenges page on the BC Girl Guides website, and it's a lot of fun. If you're not interested in doing the challenge, this can still be a fun way to explore your neighborhood and your environment and nature and learn some orienteering skills, and it's a lot of fun.
Hey, so right now we're going to take a look at the geocaching app, and I'll show you a bit how to use it. You can download this on your iPhone or Android device. So we're looking at the map, and the blue dot is where we are, and all the dots on the map are geocaches. The smiley face ones are ones that I've already found, and we're just going to be focusing on the green ones, which are traditional type geocaches. So if we click on one and we open it up, we'll see all these things that we can look at. Let's click description, and it'll tell us a little bit about this particular geocache. And another thing to notice on the cache page is these bars that'll have the difficulty, so how hard it is to find, the terrain, and the size of the geocache that you're looking for. And we can click hint, and it might give us a hint on how to find it if we're stuck. And we can open up the logs and see other people that have found it and what they've said about it. Let's just click on a closer one here so that we can see what it looks like when we navigate to a geocache. So we'll open it up, we'll press navigate, and we can see up at the top of the screen, that's about how far we are from the geocache. And then there's a line that shows us which direction we need to go to get to it. Mine is set to imperial because that's kind of how my brain works, but you can set yours to metric if that's better for you. When we found it, we can press log and log that we found it, or if we didn't find it, we can log that we didn't find it. So that's the geocaching app, and I hope that you can ask your grown-up to help you download it and have a look at geocaching.
Oh, I think I see it. Yep, I see it. Beep, stop, I see it.
Ow.
Under there.
Baby, come, you wanna help me? Look, we got something. Yeah. Right there. There you go.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Whoa! Oh.
So this is a geocache, and this is a small size geocache, and it's a container, and inside, Arthur, stay here please. Inside, you'll find a logbook. Every geocache will have some type of logbook for you to sign your geocaching name on. And then the stuff on the inside is called swag. The swag is stuff that you trade for, so if you take something out, you should put something in that's just as good as the thing that you took out. So once you have gone through the geocache and done any trades you want and signed your name in the logbook, it's important to re-hide the geocache where you found it for the next person to find. Hey, so not related to geocaching or anything, but when I was walking on the trail in between caches, I saw a bunch of this plant. And this is one of my favorite plants. And it's actually called skunk cabbage because when it blooms, it has this yellow flower that smells gross like a skunk. But it's one of my favorite plants because here on the BC coast, this plant grows in a lot of ditches and kind of marshy areas. And when I would go camping with my dad when I was a kid, when I smelled the skunk cabbage in the summer coming down the logging road, I knew that we were almost at the lake. So for me, this stinky plant is actually a pretty happy plant. And I just wanted to share that with you because we were walking by it. Is there any kind of plant or bird or sound or smell that gives you a happy memory? Let me know down in the comments. So those rocks don't really look like nature put them there. So I'm betting that the geocache is hidden underneath them. And there it is. So I wasn't gonna film the inside of every geocache, but then I opened up this one and look what I found. You know what that is? It's a frying pan hat craft. I'm pretty sure that this was found by a Girl Guide, and look, owl stickers. Do you think maybe a brownie was here before us? That's pretty cool. Hey, so I'm back here in Yaletown, where I live, and I just want to show you geocaching in an urban environment. So I'll show you around and I'll show you where I am. So there's a sculpture there, there's a boulevard and a bunch of apartments, and that's pretty much what my neighborhood looks like. Parks in more urban areas don't have as many trails or hiding places, so the geocaches are going to look a lot different. There's not going to be space to hide a big box. So usually when we're geocaching in an urban environment, the geocaches are small, and we call those micro caches. So there's no room for swag, there's just a logbook. And there's one here, if I can find it, right here. So this is actually quite a large urban cache. Some of them are even smaller, like maybe the size of half of my finger. There's a thing called a bison tube. And then there's even smaller ones that are about the size of like a nut or a screw on a bench. They're called nano caches. And little key holders that you would use to hide a spare key for your front door. Those are really common urban geocaches. So just so you know what you might be looking for depending on where you are geocaching.